What a great day. Is everybody as excited as I am? Hey, let's hear it. All right. So, my name is Joe Lopano, and it's an honor to be the CEO of your airport. And thank you all for being here to celebrate this historic moment, the official groundbreaking ceremony for Tampa International Airport's largest expansion in more than 40 years. So why are we here on top of a parking garage? Well, right behind me will be, in 3 years, a 2 million square foot consolidated rental car center. And there will be a station for the automated people mover that will connect this garage, this economy garage, directly to the main terminal. What we have here is a rendering of that station at the main terminal. It is totally awesome, and it's on. It's underway. So, it took us 3 years of work to get to this point, and many of you have been involved since the start of this journey. Our current board members are here, former board members, thank you. Aviation Authority employees, my team is awesome, I'm so proud to be a part of it. Our business partners and our partners at the Florida Department of Transportation. Secretary Steinman is here with us, a huge supporter and a great collaborator. He's been with us right from the start. Thank you very much. And I also want to sincerely thank Governor Scott, who was very, very instrumental in making this thing happen. He could not be with us today, but he was a key player in making this happen. So let's show them our appreciation. So we're about to turn a lot of dirt and transform an airport that has helped transform our community. It's appropriate that we're celebrating this milestone a week before Thanksgiving because we have much to be thankful for. I'm glad that we live in this place at this time. The Tampa Bay area is one of the country's fastest growing economies. All of us here today are benefiting from this region's spectacular growth in tourism and business development. Tampa's position on the international stage has grown tremendously. St. Petersburg is blossoming into a world-renowned arts community, and the Pinellas Beaches still draw visitors from all across the globe. We are lucky to be right here and right now. I'm also thankful to the people who came before us. Percival Fensler, who 100 years ago established the first commercial airline, and Tony Janis, who piloted the world's first commercial flight from St. Petersburg to Tampa. The city leaders who in 1945 opened a commercial airport in Tampa on the old Drew Field site. And that's the sound of money right there. We love that sound. And George Bean, who introduced this airport's revolutionary hub and spoke design with the very first airport people mover that has become the model for the rest of the world. It all started here in Tampa. This amazing airport has been used by hundreds of millions of people over the years and is consistently ranked as one of the 10 best airports in the world. So now we're building on our remarkable legacy, a legacy of superior ease and convenience for our customers. We will not make our guests walk long distances. Just like in the past, we'll build a people mover. Except this one, instead of going from the main terminal to the airsides, will go 1.4 miles to an elegant and efficient rental car center where our guests can quickly rent a car and use public transportation to enjoy the wonders of Tampa Bay. We're building a better Florida, and we're building a better Tampa Bay, a future that will be enjoyed by generations to come, just like our forefathers did. This airport has always been the heart and soul of our community, always fueling our economy and giving back to those who live here. Just a few weeks ago, I went to one of our construction sites. A young man opened the gate for me and let me onto the site, and I started talking to him. His name is Richard Hudson. He's with us here today. Richard, would you please stand? Richard and I started talking, and he said that he'd just been on the job for a week and was very excited to be part of the project. And I asked him what he was doing before he started working on this project, and Richard said he was unemployed. So we're making a difference to Richard Hudson, and we'll make a difference to thousands over the next 3 years. That's what this airport does for our community. Thank you. This expansion also means we can continue our airline recruitment efforts. And with each win, like the new Lufthansa service to Germany we announced last week, we'll know that our new guests will come to know the outstanding customer experience that makes this airport so beloved. So I close by saying, let's start building and let's get flying. As part of our groundbreaking ceremony, we'll be recognizing some of the people who have made this day possible. And I want to start with someone I greatly admire and respect and appreciate. Robert Watkins, Chairman of the Aviation Authority Board. Would you come up, Robert?
Let's give him another round of applause. That's a heck of a chief executive. I have a few remarks, but before I start, I've been asked by Governor Rick Scott, who couldn't be here today, to read a letter that he sent. And so with that, from Governor Rick Scott, dear friends, congratulations on today's groundbreaking of the Tampa Gateway Center at Tampa International Airport. This expansion not only helps TIA, one of the world's premier airports, it also increases passenger capacity and creates opportunities for Florida's families. Every 85 visitors to our state create one job for Floridians. With more than half of Florida's visitors arriving by air each year, the Tampa Gateway Center will allow Florida's growing tourism industry to expand even more. In addition to growing jobs in our tourism industry, this project will create more than 7,000 construction jobs. When complete, the Tampa Gateway Center will support more than 1,000 permanent jobs, and every job is great news for Florida's families. The aviation industry plays an important role in our state's economy, accounting for almost $115 billion in annual economic activity in our state. Our critical investment in TIA of $194 million in state funding will create more revenue for both the airport and the region. Florida airports continue to expand because we are creating an opportunity where businesses can grow and create jobs and opportunities for future generations. Thank you for hosting visitors from around the world every day and helping Florida create an opportunity economy that supports jobs for generations to come so our grandchildren can pursue their dreams right here in Florida. Sincerely, Governor Rick Scott. And I will just say thank you, Governor Rick Scott. Now let me tell you, I can't imagine a better time to be chairman of the Aviation Authority Board. I am privileged to be serving at a watershed moment with such remarkable, highly regarded and capable group of men and women, and I'll have more on that later. We all know Tampa International Airport is a crown jewel of this community, and I believe all the board members feel privileged to serve, those current and past. I saw this firsthand last week at a luncheon for former board members. Our CEO, Joe Lopano, has been hosting these board member reunions since he got here annually. And regulars at those meetings include Governor Bob Martinez, Attorney Steve Mitchell, former Hillsborough County Commissioner Chris Hart, Frank Marsani, Adelaide Few, Reuben Padgett, all of whom have done much for our community over the years. And Dr. Joe Diaco was there. He was one of the board members who voted to approve this expansion back in April of 2013. All of these leaders were highly engaged and eager to see the renderings of this expansion that you see hanging in this tent today. Their comments, advice, and counsel are very much appreciated, and they all talked about how much they love this airport. They're not alone. To a person, whenever I talk to friends, neighbors about Tampa International Airport, they all say Tampa International is the best airport in the world. As Joe said, one of the reasons this airport is so well loved is because of its design, which has been copied all over the world. A little history. Sam Bucklew was chairman of the board in 1967 when the Aviation Authority Board approved plans for the new airport that the newspaper then rightfully called futuristic. The airport was designed to accommodate the new jumbo jets that the airlines were planning to use by 1970. Bill Cruzen, old friend of mine, a pilot who was inducted into the Florida Aviation Hall of Fame, was chairman of the Aviation Authority in 1971 when the new airport opened. At the time, Tampa International served 3.4 million passengers each year. Within 10 years of the new terminal opening, that number had more than doubled to 7.1 million passengers. The expansion that we're doing the groundbreaking for today is also intended to double the capacity of this airport. We currently serve 17 million passengers each year. That's expected to grow to 34 million passengers by 2033. And we wouldn't be here right now if not for the vision of the leaders who came before us, many of whom are here today. There are two in particular that I'd like to mention. First, my close friend, the late Al Austin. Al was the longest serving member of the Aviation Authority. He served for 12 years, and much of that time as chairman. He was perhaps the airport's most dedicated supporter. He was a community pioneer with a great vision for all of Tampa Bay. I am certain he would be proud if he could be here today and see this outpouring of community pride. Al stepped down in 2011, which is when my tenure began, Governor Rick Scott appointing me to his position on the board. I also had the honor of serving with the late Steve Burton, who was a chairman of the board before me. He too was dedicated to TIA, championing the push for expanded international flights, finding and attracting a top-tier CEO in Joe Lopano, and moving forward with our master plan. Illustrative of Steve's dedication and commitment to this airport, he called into a meeting from his hospital bed to vote for this expansion. I am sure he is smiling down on us today and celebrating with us as we begin this new chapter for Tampa International Airport, the Tampa Bay region, and the great state of Florida. Let me close my remarks with an assurance to you all. Tampa International Airport is in very good hands. She has very dedicated and conscientious employees, executives and managers that are the envy of the industry, dedicated and thoughtful board members, and a chief executive that has deftly brought us into final approach, and I am confident we'll land this expansion right on the numbers. We're building a bright future, and we're building it today. At this point, I'd like to introduce my fellow board members. We have Mayor Bob Buckhorn. Sam Rashid couldn't be here today. Vice Chairman Gary Harrod, and Commissioner Victor Chris couldn't be here today. He sends his best wishes. Gentlemen, let's grab a hat and a shovel and see if we can't get this thing started. Thank you.
Need a new hat.
No, I don't need a hat.
Oh, you don't want a hat? Okay. No hat. Going without a hat?
I'll go without a hat.
Okay. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Our next speaker is one of the biggest supporters of Tampa International Airport. We got together multiple times over the past few years to talk about the master plan. She grilled us and asked pointed questions so she could thoroughly understand this project, and was hugely helpful, as was the governor, in helping us get $194 million in funding from the Florida Department of Transportation for this project. She also carried the renewal of our enabling legislation the year before that. She understands the importance of these big economic engines like the airport and the port to our community. Ladies and gentlemen, State Representative Dana Young.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you all for being here. This is such an exciting day. And I was thinking to myself on the way over here, what an incredible vision that the architects of this airport had when they put it together all the way back in 1971. I was telling Joe this morning I had the privilege of flying out of another airport in Florida that I won't name, but there were a lot of people with mouse ears walking around. And frankly, it was just not nearly the pleasant experience that we have here. Every time I walk into this airport, I think we are so lucky. How many of you feel that way when you come to this airport? How lucky we are. Such a great traveling experience, and it's no surprise to any of us that we are ranked number 5 of every airport in the world. I mean, that is nothing to sneeze at. This is a big deal. And I just want to thank Joe Lopano and his amazing team, and Robert Watkins and your board, and my legislative partners that were very instrumental in this. And I have to particularly call out Seth McKeel, who chaired the House Appropriations Committee, Speaker Will Weatherford, and Senate President Don Gates, and Senator Jeff Brandes, because we were in the weeds of this. And I will never forget when I went to Seth McKeel at the beginning of session, as we all do, to talk about or actually maybe this was 2 years ago, to talk about our appropriations requests, and usually they're, could I have $150,000 to fund a water project in Tampa or this and that? And I said, well, he said, Representative Young, what are you thinking? And I said, well, I just really have one request, and it's for Tampa Airport. And he said, well, what are you looking for? And I said, well, I'd like $194 million, please. I promise not to ask for anything else. So with that great team and a lot of help from all the other legislative members in the delegation, we were able to get this appropriation through. And there is no question in my mind that this project is not only beneficial for the Tampa Bay region, but for the state as a whole. It enhances the travel experience of every visitor to the state of Florida, as well as to our residents. And hopefully it is a driver to bring new businesses and new people here to Florida, to Tampa, as businesses want good traveling experience for their employees and their customers to come in and out of their headquarters. In fact, Old Republic Title Insurance, who just relocated here from Minneapolis, said that Tampa Airport was one of the driving factors that helped them choose Tampa Bay over other areas in the state of Florida. Yeah. And just briefly, the economic impact of this project cannot be overstated. I don't know if you all know, I didn't until recently, that over 7,000 people work here every day, like in the airport and around the airport, not just these indirect jobs, but direct Tampa Airport jobs. And Joe Lopano just told me this morning that this construction project is creating 9,000 new jobs right here. So I'm not going to belabor this because you got a lot of speakers, but it's just so exciting to be here on this great day. And I can't wait, Joe, I can't wait to come and, rent a car and use the new facility. So every once in a while I do leave a car here and rent a car to drive to Tallahassee. So looking forward to it, and thank you all, and thank you for all the people that made this happen.
Our next speaker is a huge supporter of this airport, a former board member, and one of the originators of our disadvantaged minority business program, and a great champion for our minority community. This project means a whole lot to our minority community. There's a lot of participation with our minority contractors, and this woman is also the Senate Minority Leader, Senator Arthenia Joyner.
Good morning. This is really an exciting day to be here at Tampa International Airport, my favorite place. I've been in and out of here 10 times in the last 14 days. So, this airport and where we are now represents the vision that was initially started years ago, and that was to be the first, to be on the cutting edge, to be the best. and the board of directors that we have now, they've not wavered in that vision. And today we see the greatest expansion of this airport, and now I can continue to just brag about it as I do all over the world, because Tampa International is truly number one. And I'm honored to say that when I was chair, we were number one in the world. So you got your work cut out for you, Chairman Watkins. But the one commitment that this airport has always had is to be very inclusive and to make sure that minorities and women had a fair shot and an equal opportunity to access work in anything that was being done here, whether it was professional, janitorial, the scope, all of it. We've always been inclusive. The first phase of this master plan, of this $943 million program, includes a commitment from the Aviation Authority to direct $122 million to women and minority contractors, and that is astounding. The minority percentage was in the single digits when I was chair. You got me on that one, because now you're in the double digits, and I'm so proud, because half of the 72 contractors on the project right now are minority and women-owned businesses. So this airport continues to take the lead. We're the economic engine. We're the crown jewel. We lead in diversity in our contracting, and I'm proud to have served as a member for 8 years, and I'm proud now that we continue the vision started by the founders to be number one. Thank you.
Well, that was very well said. Thank you. This event's all about transportation. Our next speaker is also about transportation. He has his eye on the future. One of the most exciting aspects of that future is driverless vehicles. This airport, of course, paved the way for driverless vehicles with our automated people movers more than 40 years ago. We were the first airport in the country to have these people movers, and in fact in the world. And tourists on their way to Disney would ride them here and get a taste of Tomorrowland before they even went to Disney. Our next speaker, Jeff Brandes, sponsored legislation in 2012 that made Florida one of the few states in the country where you can test driverless vehicles. That's forward thinking. And like Representative Young, he was enormously helpful to us in Tallahassee. Senator Jeff Brandes.
Thank you all so much. It's an honor to be here with you today. I just thought I'd quickly tell you about what an important place Tampa International has been in my life. I was, Mayor, I was one of the original Uber drivers. I didn't know if you knew this, but I had one client, and that was my grandfather, Linton Tibbetts. And from the time I turned 16, he would call me at the lumberyard, and he would fly out of here every 2 weeks to his home country of the Cayman Islands. He would fly Cayman Airways every 2 weeks out of Tampa International. And so no matter where I was, no matter what I was doing, I was to be at his office and taken to the airport. And I drove there, and I did that. It was a 30-minute drive, and we had the best conversations, and I will remember those times the rest of my life. I got some real gems coming out of those conversations on dating advice. He would tell me any old port in a storm. You know, he was an old sailor, and that was one of his favorite sayings. But I can tell you, he left me with one wonderful piece of advice, and that one kept coming up every day that I would drive him. He would give me the exact same piece of advice, and he would say, "Jeff, drive in the center lane." And he would always tell me, drive in the center lane, and no matter what I was doing, and no matter how often I drove, I would drive in the left lane or drive in the right lane, but he always wanted me to drive in the center lane. And I kind of reflected on that and what that meant. He really meant maximize your options. right? Maximize your options. And so what we're doing today is really maximizing the options of this airport, maximizing the things that we can do in the future, and that's why I think it's so great and so important. This improvement is going to play a major role. It's along with what we're doing with the veterans, along with what we're doing with the Gateway Express. It's going to make a major role in the region, and we're so excited about that. It's a critical piece of our network. And together, we've provided almost $340 million for transportation and aviation improvements throughout the state of Florida. And that's just amazing to see us take such a lead role in making sure that these investments remain at the highest level for our tourists. And just to close, we've had the best year of tourism that we've ever had in the last year. And it's these types of investments that will make great things for the long term and really drive us into the future. So I look forward to seeing this great investment play out. Thank you all so much, and God bless you. And let's turn some dirt.
Our next speaker. Oh, we're turning dirt? Okay. All right. Everybody got a shovel? Got a shovel? There we go. Turn it. Thank you all. I'm not used to this kind of work. Our next speaker needs very little introduction in Florida, but in Germany he is known as the Oberbürgermeister. He is the face of our city, he sits on our board, and he has been beside us every step of the way. Whether we're traveling to Germany or Panama, working on recruiting new airlines, or planning the biggest expansion in airport history. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Bob Buckhorn.
For those of you that have been around politics for a long time, the reason I don't wear hats is every time someone hands me a silly hat, I think of Mike Dukakis in the tank. I'm not doing hats. That pretty much killed his presidential campaign right there. Before we go any further, I want to recognize somebody who helped set the standard for me, someone who was on the board when this airport opened. He is an amazing Tampa icon. He is my friend. He is all of our friends, former Mayor Dick Greco. You know, if you think about this moment in time for us, and you think about what we are embarking on, and you think about where this city and where this Tampa Bay area is right now, and you think about where we have come from through the wreckage of this recession, and you think about the electricity that's coursing through the veins of this city that is almost palpable, the optimism, the hope, the belief that, yeah, we got kicked to our knees, but better days are yet to come. That we've emerged through the wreckage and come out of this better and stronger and more united and more focused than we have ever been before. And when you think about projects like this and what they represent to this Bay Area, and you think about all that has happened in the last couple years, a downtown that is emerging as one of the hottest markets in the United States, a West Shore area that's growing by leaps and bounds, but most importantly, an attitude that says that our best days are yet to come, that we don't ask anybody's permission anymore as a community, that we compete, that we win, that we don't settle for second best or mediocrity anymore. This is a world-class airport. And what's going to happen here today and over the next couple years will seal our place on that international stage. Because as we go tell Tampa's message to the world, as we open up the doors of business, as we tell Tampa's story in English and in Spanish and whatever language you may speak, this is an opportunity for us to continue that forward progress, to continue that belief that those best days are out in front of us. This is a community, and I want you to listen. This is a community whose time has arrived. We're not waiting anymore. This will be the economic engine that drives the entire southeast of the United States over the next decade. We will change the physical skyline, we will change this airport, but most importantly, we will take our place on the stage of great American cities. And we're going to do it together. We're not Democrat, we're Republican. We're not Pinellas, we're not Hillsborough. We're not divided by these bridges that are only conduits to cooperation. We are not rural, we're not urban, we are not Hillsborough, we are not Tampa, we are not Pinellas. We are the Bay Area, and if we stand together, and if we don't let them divide us, there is nothing that can stop us. This wouldn't have happened without Democrats and Republicans working together. This wouldn't have happened without Governor Scott and Speaker Weatherford and Chairman McKeel and Dana Young and Jeff Brandis and Arthenia Joyner and Janet Cruz and all of the members of this partnership that stood up and said that this airport is bigger than whatever divides us. And the time for that bickering is over. Time for that letting them divide us is over. We are one community that speaks with one vision and one voice. And ladies and gentlemen, if we do this right, we'll have one future. Let's go get it done. Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Are we digging? I think we're digging.
If you're not careful, I'll start preaching. Which for an Irish Catholic guy is hard to do. But I hung around enough of those Baptist churches that I got it down. We've got a couple people that we want to invite up here. Jim Kimbrough from T-BARTA, and we got Ron Rotella from the West Shore Alliance. We've got Rick Homans from the EDC. All of our partners that make this happen. These are the folks that are in the trenches every day getting the job done. Let's go dig some dirt, and I'm still not putting a hat on.
No, that's right.
We got an extra one here.
All right, here we go. On three, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, very good. There we go. As CEO of the airport, I sit on a number of boards, and one of those is the Metropolitan Planning Organization. That's the board that makes transportation plans for our county. Hillsborough County Commissioner Sandy Merman, our next speaker, serves on that board with me. She's a former state representative, and just this week, she was elected chair of the Hillsborough County Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandy Merman.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Robert, all the board members. I have to ask a favor. I want my friend Mark Sharp to come up here right now and stand with me. He was a former chair. You get up here. You have to. You don't know what Mark Sharp has done for this community in the 10 years he served on the county commission. He had the same vision as Joe Lampano. And I just want to thank him publicly because this man is really making things happen. You know, Joe mentioned transform. We are going through the biggest transformation we have ever seen in the city of Tampa and Hillsborough County. And it's because the leaders like the mayor, Mark Sharp, Joe Lopano, Paul Anderson, the port, the airport, the economic development, we are all working together towards one goal. This is going to be the #1 primary destination for people to come, live, work, and play. That is our goal. We're going to make it happen in the next 10 years, and we are totally committed. And this wouldn't have happened today without people building this airport. The jobs that have been here over the years have done so much for our families and our community. And Joe, you really have given such a quality of life to all the people that work here. And the new jobs that are going to be created, Danny Young said it earlier, 9,000. After it's built, another 1,000 people will be working here permanently. So that's just an exciting time for us. I think we all heard a lot about jobs during the election cycle. In fact, we heard about it so much we could dream about it. But this is reality. This is what, if we have the jobs, people will come here, they will bring their businesses here, and we will be a stronger, more vibrant community. And that's what we want for Tampa and Hillsborough County. And no better place could kick this off than being here at the airport to get it started. So I want to ask these individuals to come forward. They are the representatives of the major contractors. Come up for a photograph. I see you, Joe Williams from Kimmons. Come on up. Darren Friedman from Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. We have Bob Graham from Cone and Graham. We have William McAdoo from Austin Commercial and Steve Clemens from Skanska. Thank you all, and let's get this done. Come on up.
Let's go. Chairman?
You want to stand with me?
Do we have any quick ones?
We'll be over here on the side. I am not putting a hat on. No way.
I'm with her.
No way.
The tank story. The tank story.
Here.
Here we go. On three. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, Joe, take it over.
All right, moving along here now. Last but certainly not least, I want to bring up a key member of the Aviation Authority team, Al Illustrato, our Vice President of Facilities and Administration. Al is, there you go. Those are all our team members who love Al. He's been here a while, and what's not to love? He's been at the airport a long time. This year he's celebrating 25 years with the authority. He's seen it all. He's done yeoman's work over the past 3 years with the planning of this program. Ladies and gentlemen, Al Illustrato.
My gosh. My gosh, how touching is that? Thank you. That is so overwhelming. I'm so proud to be here with you this morning. But Joe, I'll tell you, as you know, it's a team effort, and we have a great airport team behind us all the way. Before I begin my brief remarks this morning, I'd like you to keep the following words in mind and remember them as you leave here today. Enthusiasm, pride, and commitment. These 3 simple words capture the spirit and the essence of all of our airport team members. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be here today representing all of the Aviation Authority employees who have been working on this master plan tirelessly for the last 3 years. This is a very, very proud day for all of us. On behalf of the entire airport family, I want to express our sincere appreciation to all of you that have come here today to support us, our board, elected officials, community leaders, business leaders, and citizens who took time from their busy day to come out here and to support this airport and our project. Please don't ever underestimate what that support means to us. It is critical to our success. Thank you very, very much. As we implement this billion-dollar development program, literally all departments within the Aviation Authority and all employees at every level will be involved. From making sure our facilities are built well, to providing a great customer experience that our airport has been known for years, our dedicated employees are ready to get to work and get the job done. Over the 25 years I've been here with the Aviation Authority, I've seen and experienced a lot of things, a lot of exciting projects, and that's been a true privilege for me. But I've got to tell you, there has been nothing like the enthusiasm, the pride, and the commitment that we have today. We can only imagine that those involved in the building of this great terminal back in the late 60s and early 70s might feel that very way that we feel here today. And that is truly, truly touching to us. All of our project teams realize the importance of what we're doing for not only Tampa International Airport, visitors from around the world, and the Tampa Bay community for decades to come. We will have an influence. Everyone is committed to doing the best job possible, and I am confident standing here before you today that as a team, we are going to be very successful. To represent the Authority team, I would like to have and invite our Head of Planning and Development, Jeff Siddle. And our project directors that have a key role on this project, Alice Price, Rob Furr, Brian Rumble, and Scott Nesbitt. Let's come on up here and turn some dirt and get to work.
Okay. So I had just a few more things I want to say. That concludes our program, but I want to thank you all for being here. Also want to thank again, one more time, special thanks to Governor Rick Scott and for our delegation. $194 million grant is something that this airport has never, ever gotten, and we are so thankful for the support that we've received to get that. It really helps in the financing of this project. Thank you to our board members, past and present. Thank you to our state lawmakers, our community partners, our contractors, and our team. And so I have a chairman of the board here at work, Robert, and I have a chairman of the board at home. And I just want to publicly thank Janet, my wife, for her support.